Welcome to selfdiscoveryradio.com, where the orchard of wisdom is just ready for picking. We celebrate your why, the journey that you've taken that inspires someone else. We support your services, we support your story. Come and be our guest, become a host, be an author with us. Come and see what we've got. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul series. I am Sara Troy, your host, and my guest today is Debra Thomlinson, a true psychic, a metaphysical person, a mystique person, magical in all that she does. We're going to be discussing today what is the difference between all of those things. And her psychicness, is it something that she just became? Was it something that's always been with her? And she actually does make a living out of doing this. This is her trade. It is her gift, and it is something that she's very, very good at. And it's something that it's been an industry that's kind of been very misconstrued and misrepresented. And it's, for a lot of people, they're out there, they're not authentic. And so to find somebody who truly is authentic in what they do, because it comes from the very core of them, is an absolute delight. So let's dive down this mystical, magical world of yours, Debra, and understand really where it comes from. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, I've been actually doing this since I was 6. I first discovered it through dream work, and I've got quite the imagination as well. I'm as an artist, so it's all developing over time, and it's also a form of belief too. Like It is something that is with you. It is with all of us when we are first born, but some of us are innately more subjected to those psychic abilities than others, and we develop those high-tuned abilities in our lives and use them. So the form of clairvoyance, the form of clairaudience, clairsentience, and all of those feeling, tasting, seeing, and hearing is something that is developed from birth that some of us are using, some of us just aren't tapped into yet.
Right.
So those kind of some of the differences there.
So we've all got the ability. It's just whether we're nurturing the ability or following that path. It's as with any gift, if you don't nurture it, that gift can go by the wayside. And there's a lot of people that have, is this intuition? Is this instinctual? And it's that thread of that, beautiful divine presence that's within them, that's guiding them, but they don't always tune into it. You decided to tune into it and let it lead you down your path. Was it a choice of yours, or was it one of those things that you just have to take this path willy-nilly?
I have tried, seriously, since 1988 to hold a regular type of job like everybody else.
Yes.
And it doesn't happen for me. And my intuition would get, the best of me.
Yeah.
And my abilities, it's something that I have fallen into. It has chosen me. I have not chosen it.
Yes.
And and once you actually accept that's your fate, that's where your direction is, so many magical more things come to you, like your ability to see things that other people cannot even fathom. It's a world, other world more than you think. It is a different realm, and it is magical.
Different realm. It's a universal realm. And the thing is that everything is energy. Everything can be measured, either a frequency or quantumness, whatever. The thing is that when you are highly tuned in, like you are, you're just picking up the knowledge frequencies. I call it the knowingness, knowing what you need to know at the time that you need to know it. You're channeling all of that knowledge instinctually because you're tuned in. You've got your own knobs going there, and you're just allowing those channels to be open and allowing the knowledge to come to you. And that in itself is a dedication, because again, we've all got the ability, but not everybody has the ability to really find out, turning those knobs until they find the right channels. And once you've got those right channels, it's like a floodgate, isn't it?
It is.
And then you've actually got to define okay, what am I meant to do with this? Because everything is coming down. And, can I turn it off? Can I slow it down? And that's a challenge in itself, isn't it?
Yes, well, that's true. I mean, when you first realize that you have these gifts, it's hard to determine how to turn it on, how to shut it off. You actually, it would be best with a mentor, I found.
Yes.
And that's what I did in 2006. I found someone that could help me develop and turn it on and off, because it can be overpowering. And you know, it affects all your health as well. It's your third eye that's opening, and you're just, you know, you need some guidance at times. So definitely, if you have found that, and it's possible that you can pop open at any time of your life. Sometimes a tragic event will happen, or you know, even after childbirth, those sorts of ideas, something traumatic will shake up the ability, and all of a sudden you have this knowing that you have no idea where it came from.
Right.
So yeah, it is always best to see if you can find a group or a mentor or something to get you going, and trust in that truth as well.
Right.
The messages that are coming through to you are like, do not put them on the back burner or ignore them, because if you don't follow what they're suggesting and giving you that information, then you'll make a wrong choice. And that's that gut instinct that we use.
Yes. Or you'll get the cosmic 2x4. You know, are you listening now?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And they can be pretty dramatic with that as well. So you pay attention. For sure.
Yeah. And the thing is the universe is talking to all of us. You know, this is what I call our redirect. You know, when you know, something happens in our lives and it's like, oh, you know, I don't know where to go from here, I don't want change or this or that, and the universe is saying, well, whatever you've been doing has come to an end, it's now time to redirect, and we're going to nudge you here and we're going to nudge you there, and then through people like yourself where they can go to and get guidance. Okay, this has come to it, what paths are before me? You know, I'm not sure which direction to go in, there's a lot of static happening right now, I can't understand what I'm meant to understand. And that's where you can come in and clear things up, isn't it? It's like homing in on the real message, because really what they're getting is in between the channels with a lot of and it's confusing.
True. Yeah, there's a lot of static. Yeah, I've helped probably thousands of people with every situation in their life, and intuitive counseling has become a major force in the medical industries. And it's, you know, a lot of us don't want to go to a psychologist or a psychotherapist, not just for the expense part, but because they don't feel that they truly understand what's going on in their minds.
But they're only dealing with the head up. They're not dealing with the heart, the soul, or the spirit. Yeah,
exactly. Yes. So what I do is an all-around kind of therapy for people, and results have been amazing. I have repeat customers, and my business has grown tenfold in the last year.
Right. And you know, there's obviously this has been happening since the beginning of time, and of course since the beginning of time it's always had a bad rap, you know, the charlatan, fortune teller and all of that. And there's still some of those people out there, and it's a question of go with your gut as to who you feel comfortable with. But when you do get a genuine person like yourself that really is channeling those messages, it's like having somebody on your shoulder. You know, I'm going to refer to a book, The Golden Compass. In England, it was called Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. It's a youth genre book, but I absolutely loved it. And one of the things they refer to is that during childhood, the soul is on the outside, constantly changing, you know, its shape, you know, so maybe it's a dragon, maybe it's a kitten, maybe it's this and that. And when they reach adolescence, it becomes what their soul truly is. But it talks to them all the time. It's always in communication and guiding them. And, you know, when I read this book and I thought, oh, wouldn't I have loved that, to have had my soul guiding me there, you know, in my face all the time in my life. And really it's beautiful to actually have that, but really we are ignoring our soul and our spirits, aren't we? Because it's talking to us all the time. It's trying to guide us all the time. And we sometimes need the external help like you, who can steer people in to trusting, to listening, to knowing where they're going. But for so many people, they deny it in any way. You're getting the help or listening to the voice, you know, cutting off those feelings, and oh no, that's all phooey, and you know, I'm not going to listen to any of that. But if we don't, that's when that cosmic 2x4 comes along, doesn't it?
Correct. Yes, it's tragic what's happening in society. To everyone's pretty much living in a box is what I'm finding, and it's so busy. There's so much electronics going on. There's so many things that are dulling the instinctual messages that come through. That there's a lot of lost people at the moment that I have seen more so in this past year than any other years, and it's it is unfortunate, but I am glad that they're starting to, some of us are starting to realize that, there's more to what we're doing, and we need guidance. We need to be able to break through our barriers and listen to those messages.
Right. I had a psychotherapist on, and she said that she changed her psychotherapy practice to sacral therapy, of the sacredness of this, because she realized everything to do with psychiatry and everything is to do with the head, and that we weren't taking care of our sacredness, of the heart, the soul, and our spirit. And it's only when we bring that into the equation, because the spirit, the heart, and the soul all have their own intelligence, and it's only when you bring them into the conversation can you really get the whole picture. You're really in tuned to the soul, the heart, and the spirit, and what the messages really are. And so that calms the head down, doesn't it? Because the head is so filled with knowledge, but really the heart, the soul, and the spirit is the wisdom to know how to use that knowledge. And that's where you come in, because you know from the core what really is relevant and what isn't, because for everyone else it's chatter that they're constantly hearing, and they don't know. They're confused. Logically, rationally, I should go down this path, but my heart says I should go down that path. And it's that disconnect that really is causing a lot of the confusion, isn't it?
It is, and I am here for the clarification. I have spent a great deal of time studying as a intuitive counselor, and I can discern between what is going on in your mind and what is going on in your heart. But I am also what is called a clairvoyant. So I see images and pictures of people's lives, past, present, and future. Right. And that, I find, is my guide for helping them to make a decision in their lives.
People don't realize how much of the past and, past lives, have an effect on this current life. I always say, please clean up your chute this lifetime so you're not imposing it on the next lifetime, because this vessel will go, but the spirit and everything that we've learned in this lifetime will continue on in another vessel, another form. And so many times people feel, I'm carrying this grudge, or I'm carrying this something around, and I don't know where it comes from. And so often it is that past life imprint, isn't it, that's kind of heavily weighing on them.
We all have a karmic past. We all have come from some other being, and we will continue to reshape and reform ourselves. We're here for now, learning our lessons, and we will continue on to our next life and learn more, even more lessons. It's not an ending cycle.
No. And this is the thing, this is the beauty of it, because we are our own library of wisdom. With each lifetime, we're taking on more of that instinctual knowledge. People, oh, it's deja vu. I feel I've been here before. Well, you probably have.
Exactly.
And it's just a memory.
Nothing is coincidental. It's all related to what the universe has the plan for.
It's the same when we meet someone. You hear of people, they meet someone that love at first sight, and you go, yeah, right, how can it be? Well, it is the inability to deny the connection, and that connection is so much stronger than everything else. And, it's what everybody wishes for, isn't it? We all would love to have that kind of connection, but it's, very often it could be in a few lifetimes coming together, of people trying to find themselves back to each other.
Yeah, and it happens every day. Some of the amazing stories that I've heard from some of my clients, that there's different aspects of the love too. There's the soulmate, there's the twin flame, and there's the brother and sister, right? It's not just a love that is of this lifetime.
Right. Yes. And don't deny it, and don't ignore it, and don't put any boundaries or walls up around it, because it's there for a reason, right? And don't try and over intellectualize it. Just go with it and discover what it really means.
Exactly. And I show my clients that all the time. Like, the fear is what holds people back
Yes.
from getting the results that they require. And I'm not really sure why that is. I have learned how to let go of fear in every case, and
Right.
it has proven itself worthy. So
Fear's so heavy, isn't it?
it is a
It is
burden.
so draining, you know, and it's like you're living in this fear. Everything in your body tenses up. Now your body goes into distress, and then that sets the organs off into distress, and then you forgot what you were fearful about. You're just afraid of fear altogether now.
Precisely. And then you cocoon yourself and don't make a decision at all.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so
Now,
there's
I have been a reader. I don't read anymore. I was a spiritual counselor for most of my life, and I've now redirected into profiling wonderful people like you doing the work. But I know that you run into those people that it doesn't matter what you tell them. It's yes, but when's Prince Charming going to come, or when's the money going to come? And you show them the map or the path of what lays before them, but they've still got to walk it. But do you find you still do run into a client here and there that, will you walk it for me?
every day. Indeed, yes. You can give them as much guidelines as possible, but honestly, if they're not willing to make those changes to progress the outcome, then they're always going to be, I hope I can win $1 million.
Yeah.
And instead of I can envision $1 million. I know the process and I will make it happen.
Right.
So I have clients like that all the time. They're like, and please, when I'm doing a reading, I don't want to get a reading. It's scary. You're going to tell me if I'm going to die.
Right.
Those kind of people as well. And then I have actually turned them into believers by just saying, okay, well, just give me 5 minutes of your time and I will show you what the cards really do.
Right.
And
Yes.
so,
It's just getting through that door. And of course, all of this, again, fear is coming from, either media or society or families' perception. And, we know that the core of us is calling out. The core of us wants to know. But again, the head's getting in the way from all the doctrine and the dogma that's gone on before. So if we could get out of our own head's way and go, I want to be tuned in. I need this guidance. I mean, look at how many leaders, Ronald Reagan, he had a spiritual leader there guiding him. Through the ages, there's been people that have always had the spiritual guiders guiding them, because they're bombarded with so much information. It's very hard for them to sometimes know what really is relevant. And that spiritual leader is somebody, as you're so tuned in, can see what's relevant in the now, which they can't. They may feel it, but they can't clarify it. You've got the vision to clarify it. And that's what we're looking for, isn't it? Clarity.
Exactly, we are. I've even had dealings with some very famous people as well, and some, oil heiress, as well as different other types of really high in the society. And they come to me for the answers that you would think that they would be able to figure out themselves.
Right.
And they need that clarity. They need the exact decision to make. And they've been going to me for years now because of the services that I provide.
Right. Well, that's the thing is people get so bombarded by expectations from everyone, and they don't know how to make a decision. How can I trust my gut? I'm being bombarded by this person and that person and that person. My own inner voice is being drowned out. So having someone like you who hasn't got any of that external chatter, you just can hone in. This is it. And so for that other person is, okay, I can now make that decision. So again, it's guidance. You're a guidance counselor. You're all of that, aren't you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just, the intuition and the guidance. There's the magical side too.
Yes.
At times I have no idea where these messages come from.
Right.
They just, all of a sudden there's words in my mind. I can see a flash of an image. Those kind of, I rely on those as my abilities to give information from a higher level to my clients.
And of course, we receive things in a different way. For me, it's always kind of I see a movie, I see a scenario, I see something happening, and that's it's already happening in the now. Although we see, I think that the cosmic is always ahead of us, and so it's showing you something that's already happened there, but it's we're taking a little while to catch up before we make it happen. But we all get that information in a different way. Some people maybe audibly, maybe visually, there's people who do the writing. The thing is there is no one size fits all, is there? It's when you find that one thing that really is for you, it's just, hone it in on it, nurture it, let it grow, because that's your channel. But I assume with you, though, you have quite a number of channels open now, because this is your focus. So I imagine you have a lot that you open up. Mm-hmm.
Yes, every day I'm learning something new, and I'm developing my skills. I also do palm readings. I've just started to do astrological readings, and every other type of divination tool I can get my hands on. I would love to learn tea leaf and other things as well. But I'm also enjoying teaching people now which is really exciting for me, because I've never really delved into that part of the profession. So yeah, it's a never-ending, how should I say this, profession
discovery.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And tea leaves, of course, now everything's in tea bags, but I used to do tea leaves, and it's the Chinese tea leaves are wonderful, because they really do form shapes wonderfully. And it's always been interesting because of what you see. And, the higher the cup, sooner it is, the deeper the down. But when you follow the trend, and of course you're turning that cup around and the image turns along with it, and you can get more than one story out of it. It's really quite fascinating. Again, not something I've done for a while. So of course, if you're not using things all the time, I could probably pick it back up again, but my energy's channeled elsewhere now. But palm was never quite my thing. But I think it's one of the things is, do not be scared. Also, do not be scared if it isn't so strong in you. If you don't get these feelings, if you're not really channeled and you don't really have that ability, because that's where you come in, where you can help them. This is the information you have in front of you. I don't know which one. I don't know what my gut's saying. I'm not tuned into my gut. I don't know which way to go. Well, now you are, on behalf of them, tuned into their gut. You know what path that lies before them. So whether you are somebody that's intuitive and just need the clarity, or whether you're somebody that's just kind of a blank slate and says, I have no idea, you can still see.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the situation is in the scenario. After years and years of practice of doing this, I'm now able to help everyone in their situations. It's an amazing feat, actually. And I so wish that more people would open up and start learning how to use their psychic abilities.
I think that's happening. I think that's happening on quite a large scale now. People are, from 2012, there was the whole frequency volume turned up, where everybody's now kind of going, what's this? I'm being awoken. What's this consciousness? I'm now being aware there's something more than just my head. My heart's pulsating. There's something called the soul talking to me, and my spirit wants to fly. And it's really interesting how we're seeing people waking up to it, but at the same time that they're waking up to all of this sensory going on, they don't quite know how to hone it in, or how to channel it. Do you help people with that awakening, and then hone it in and channel it in a way that they can actually understand it?
I do, yes. Each individual is different, of course, what their needs are. I've had some people that are really good at psychometry, and I'll make sure that I've trained them specifically for that. If I give them too much information about every aspect of the psychic abilities, then they shut down.
It's overload.
Yeah, they won't use it. So I try to figure out what they're the best at, and I hone that skill.
Right.
And I'm actually... Sorry. And I'm actually finding that I've got more readers now that are coming to the shows that are accurate, because of, they're fine-tuned, they know it, and that's their thing. So
right. And I think as you say, overload, it's they're already sensory overloaded, so it's just honing it in on something that they can latch onto, and then from there, as they perfect that, they're more open to other things that are going to be presented along the way. Of course, you do have the people that this is all hocus pocus, you know, the devil's work and all of that. And we will always get that. It doesn't matter, you know, what we're going on. And obviously, you're not going to be even working with people like that. But have you had any negatives towards you, you know, because of the work that you do?
Yes, years ago in Nanaimo at a psychic fair, and it was we had to end up calling security just because they were starting to get in front of my customers and try to lead them off and tell me that my time is up here on this planet. It's things like that, and they were escorted out.
Mm-hmm.
I have had some people on track me on Facebook too and tell me that I'm a fake, or you know, I don't have the information, that there's no way that I could know, and why am I, you know, even trying to follow the feelings that I have. And you know, I've gotten to the point where I've grown a thicker skin with this. Yes. And I've only had maybe 3 or 4 incidents in the 13 years I've been doing it. So I've been lucky. Some of their psychics have not been as lucky as I have, and have been, you know, attacked psychically and you know, threatened, those sort of things. But so far, so good for me.
Right, touch wood. You know, the thing is too is the more you raise your frequency, you raise it out of reach of those that can really do harm. So they might kind of cause a ripple in your bubble, but they really can't penetrate through, not if you've raised yourself up to a certain frequency. And so that, you know, sometimes you just watch them bounce off. And you're always going to get people like that, you know. It's their fear that they're living in, and they've got to blame somebody else for what's going on in their lives, or, you know, for the fear that they're living in. And really, when it comes down to it, we've all got to be very much accountable for our own lives. And that means if you are stuck, if you are at a crossroads, if you are in a turmoil, if you are in despair, don't be afraid to reach out to someone who can see you from the inside out and show you what paths are in front of you. That word clarity, again, the reason why we get so caught up in that is because we're just so caught up in the emotion of the time. We can't see, you know, the wood for the trees. And having somebody that can really see the path, you know, it becomes such a relief, because you're just feeling at a loss. And when somebody can start opening up that path for you and you start walking it, then, you know, everything else starts becoming clearer along the way. So it's not, don't be afraid if you're, you know, you're at that crossroads or you're in turmoil, because you can come and bring some calmer waters, can't you?
Indeed, I can. And it's also sometimes ignorance that is preventing people from seeking out a psychic and intuitive guidance. So they don't know it. They don't have the information. And I wish we could all band together, all of us, and actually have a format for the people that aren't in the know of what we do, so that they're not as afraid to come to us to gain what we can give to them.
Right. I mean, this has been around since the beginning of time, and yet we still have this stigma, or this, you know, lack of trust. I mean, you know, believe in Jesus. You're not touching him, you're not seeing him, you're doing it on faith. So why can you not believe in a divine energy that is also guiding you? You know, for so long the churches were, it had to go through the priests to come to you because they'd been ordained. Now the channel is, it can come to you directly, or can come through someone like you who can channel that information, and you don't have to be ordained for it. So this has got nothing to do with faith or with God or with a lack of belief. It's just a lack of institution, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. I mean, everyone's looking for some place to go to worship.
Right.
And in this case, it's coming from a divine spirit. And that is, you can practice anywhere in your home, wherever it is. I prefer to follow the path of Wicca. And it's a very spirit-based And it's something that I've been nurturing for probably a good 20 years.
Mm.
So that is, you know, a lot of us that are psychic do practice that, you know, the love of the earth,
Right.
the five senses that, and the pentacle as well. So
Mm.
there's different, it's not just from one source, it is
Yeah.
from the universe.
Yes. I mean, this is the thing. We're not just, you know, one channel, one thing. You know, we are made up of multiple. And it's just as we are, as human beings, trying to live in harmony with each other and having a very hard time doing it. You know, it's the same thing as living within harmony within yourself, with all of your different pentacles that you have. And it's seeking that harmony within yourself, isn't it? So, you know, never mind the readings that you do, which is helps them put them on the path, but you can help them come in within themselves and discover all those beautiful layers that they have within them and find peace and harmony from the inside out.
Right, exactly. And, you know, we've actually just started to notice a lot more people are turning to Wicca because it's such a, it's a spirit based, it's, you
Yeah,
know, earth based, water based, it's all of the elements that are
right.
involved. And it's so soothing and so nurturing to know that, you know, there's magic in everything that we do and everything that we touch through the Wicca.
It's love-based.
It is love
Yeah.
based, yes.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. It isn't fear-based. God isn't going to cast you down. It is love-based. You know, it's the love of planet. It's the love of all of the beautiful elements that sustain us. It's the love of each other. It's good vibrations, right?
Precisely.
And it's finding that harmony in that song, you know, with being in sync with Mother Earth, with each other, with the cosmos. And it's all about that equilibrium. And that is the base of Wicca there, isn't it? It's the love of everything, the core. And it's been around for a long time. How many pagans have been burnt at the stake, drowned, or this or that? And I know in my past life history, I went through that a lot. And, you know, we've got to stop persecuting because we don't understand, or because one thing dictates it should be this. And we need to be more investigative, more inquisitive, to try and actually understand why this is there, so that we can actually, in education, as you said, a lot of fear is ignorance. Once you actually understand, you take away the fear from it, and now you actually understand the benefits more. So, you know, before you cast something out that you don't understand, how about trying to actually understand it? And then you can truly see the beauty of it. Now, you've gone into also doing gems now as well. And of course, gems are just wonderful. I've always got crystals or gems or something around me because they are beautiful energy. My pendulum is, you know, beautiful rose quartz, and gems and stones and things are part of that Wiccan nurture from the earth, aren't they? And they carry so much beautiful energy. How about you tell us more about that?
So yeah, I deal with at Avalon Gems. I also sell crystals, etc., for people that are building their altars for, and that's another complete idea. But the four major ones that we use for are citrine, moonstone, rose quartz. We also use hematite and for the throat chakra. There's chakras, and that's
Right.
another as well, right?
Yep.
And so I find that the best lay is on your altar is to put on the crystal points on there, as well as a cauldron, something to burn your intentions in. Get yourself some white buffalo sage to open your circle with, some eagle feathers to make a smudge, to make it so that you always go in counterclockwise when you open your circle. So everything's done in threes when it comes to opening and closing your circle as well. So third time's the charm is the idea behind that. And so
Right.
the practice is beautiful. The crystals all have a purpose, and like amethyst I'm wearing right now, amethyst is perfect for the all-around healer, good for insomnia, and it helps you with dream work. There's, you know, everything, there's more to it than just a stone.
Right. More than it just looking pretty. It all has a particular energy. And when you put those energies together, they kind of create their own song, don't they? I mean, you know, this is the thing about Wicca, isn't it? Every single thing has a purpose. Every single thing serves serves the planet, serves the universe. And it's just understanding the compulations of things and how they work and how they can enhance each other. And as you said, by putting those stones in the sage, of course, if you're going to a new home, sage it, right? Get rid of any of the old energy, let the new energy in. If you've been around some negative people, a little saging is very good. And this thing is, if we open up to actually understanding that nature gives us everything we need for our own nurture, we actually then understand we can keep that energy and fluidity, because that's so very important.
That's true. It is. So yes, I do actually do psychic development courses that for clients, and we incorporate the elements of the earth and water, wind, fire, and spirit in all of everything that we do. I really enjoy it. It's really something that is starting to grow, and more people are turning to it. And it's a healthier based style of living. So
definitely. And understanding what element we are, because we're always, we're looking for the balance of elements, but we're always driven by one key element, aren't we? I mean, I'm air, so I'm constantly, that's one thing I love about Victoria. The wind, it's constantly blowing, nothing stagnation, because I hate stagnation. I love the freshness of the sea air and the constant movement of it. And there's some people are so very earth-based, they've got to touch the ground every day, they've got to feel the soil. And whatever we're drawn to is generally one of our key elements that is our, is our guider, isn't it?
Well, it follows your zodiac sign as well. Like, for instance, I'm a Pisces, March 2nd, and I'm all water completely. Right. If I can't be around water, in it, on it, or with it in some way, it's your soul suffers.
Yes. Yes. So yes.
Each of us has, and the shape of your hand will actually tell me, actually, yes, exactly. So that's an air hand. You can tell by the long fingers there. But an air hand is also very intellectual. So they love to learn. Their knowledge that's what they're based on. The more they learn, the better.
Right.
Air hands are great for administration and anyone that is, in an office kind of procedure, whereas water is someone that is wishy-washy, let's just say. Bit of a dreamer.
Right.
And very highly psychic. So there's each hand and each element is got their traits.
Administration certainly not with me, but it's certainly the like I've built here an Orchard of Wisdom, bringing people like yourself to contribute your knowledge to the library. And so the administrative start of bringing all of these people together, yes, there. But I'm a Libran as well. So I'm constantly trying to balance things out, which can make me quite neurotic. and also the Chineseology. Do you follow the Chinese signs?
Not very much, no.
I do, and I'm a horse in the Chinese sign too, which is constantly needing the freedom. So
I believe I'm a dog.
Right, really good. So I'm very loyal and very trustworthy. So yes, I really do love the Chinese signs as well, because I find because they are a month long, and there's over the year that there's I find that those signs are very solid. And so when you put all of them together, and I do the numerology, the Chineseology, the astrology, the birth thing, it's really interesting, because I also do true colors. It's very interesting to see the thread of us that goes through everything that we are, and then there's a common denominator in there. And then that's your core strength. That's your core thread. It's going to be in everything you do. And once you actually understand that, it makes it easy for you to apply yourself into various things, because you're following your thread of life.
Correct. Yes, exactly. That's a lovely way of putting it too.
Thank you. Now, I know here in Victoria, you're at a market where you do, is it spiritual readings, or you do teachings? What do you do at this market every week?
Actually, I work at Avalon Gems at so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and sometimes Wednesday, and I would do the sales as well as the readings.
Mm-hmm.
So psychic readings of all types there. But I also run my own show called The Mystic Market, and we're now on our 7th show, and it's a collaboration of creators, anything mystical and magical. So we've got massage therapists, we have jewelers, we have crafters of Wicca, we have crafters of anything that like soap, that sort of thing, body
Right.
products, aromatherapy products. And I decided to do this back in January, and it is now tripled in size. So there's a demand for it that I never saw coming, actually, which is strange for me.
Yeah, but no, you're getting down to something. People think, oh, you didn't see that coming. What kind of psychic are you? And I think one of the hardest things to do is read ourselves, isn't it? What
It's
we need.
almost impossible. So
Yes.
I do have someone that I touch up with
Mm.
occasionally, once a year, once every 2 years, whatever. But yeah, finding another psychic for a psychic is a feat.
Yes, I know. It's very difficult because you sometimes it might be a conflicting of energy or conflicting of something, and it's not intentional. It's just that the energies aren't matching. And then when you do actually find somebody can be tuned into you, then that's absolutely great. It was interesting. Back in 2010, I was actually in an electric motor development at that time, and I went to see a psychic, and she actually said to me, "You're going to do something online that's going to save lives, and it's going to be global and really grow." And I thought, electric motor online? I have no idea what this means. The electric motor, that was a whole different story, went in a different direction altogether. But here I am. When I first started the shows, I had no idea it was going to lead to my own network, that we're going to branch off into a non-profit, or that we're going to be so global and we're going to bring on so many different diverse things. And I know that it has had some saving of effect of lives. So it's sometimes we got to get out of our way and just go with something, don't we? I had no idea how to do interviewing or anything. I just did it. My first show was a Monty Python skit. I pressed all the wrong buttons, but you just keep on doing it, because sometimes you just don't know how things are going to work out unless you're willing to do it. But if it feels right, stop waiting for things to all be perfect. Trust the feeling and let it develop as you go.
And get out of your own way.
Yes. Yes. Oh, we can be our worst enemy, can't we?
Oh, yes. Yeah, like this Mystic Market that I have going now, I mean, it's snowballed, and it's because I've just given all of my energy to it and didn't take no for an answer, and didn't, have any fear about it. And it's something that, if you've got a dream and you go for that dream and you don't let anyone say or do anything that will disintegrate it, you have to go for it. You have to follow that instinct.
But you've brought all 4 elements into it. You've given it a foundation. Right? You've allowed it to flow like the fluidity of water. You've allowed the wind to even kind of bring in things and land them right where you are. And then you've given the heart, the sunlight to it, to feed it and let it grow. But you haven't dictated how it's grown. You've just allowed it to grow. And that's why it's organically grown. And it's grown according to the need. And it is a clear indication of the need.
There's so many of us out there that have no ground, no home, place to call home. And so that's why I created this, is to gather as many people as possible that, create and give health benefits and things that, are good for the environment, etc. So, I'm very pleased with the results so far, and it's only going to get better, right? And that's the thing too. You believe in it, and you grow it, and I do this 24 hours a day now.
Yes.
I'm up at 6 in the morning, and starting work. It's but I love it, and that's the thing. You have to have that passion for something, or it will not succeed.
Right. And to understand, there's going to be hard times. There's going to be times where there's, conflict or upsets. I recently, because I moved, I ran into an internet problem where it was taking me 15 hours to upload one show, and as I've got like 7 or 8 shows going up a week, it's like a few more gray hairs coming out, and you have to take a deep breath and just go and resolve it, and don't sweat it. And I had to cancel some shows with some people, and it's like don't worry, Sara. And it's like, very often if we get uptight, we're going to create uptightness. If we just go like, you know, the internet gods have hit me, most people are understanding. And if they're not, maybe you don't want to interview them or have anything to do with them in the first place, right?
There's the reason.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's like, I think one of the big things as humanity, let's stop sweating it. You know, we're sweating the small stuff. And this is where, you know, today stress is something that is causing so much dis-ease that it's become epidemic. And I think by having that clarity, by having that guidance, by having somebody who can see you from the inside out, who can see that path before you, and so you're not feeling so bombarded by all this conflict, all this confusion, somebody that can offer you that clarity can de-stress you quite considerably. And then you can get on doing what it is you're meant to do.
Exactly. Another thing too is one of the stones that I use to protect myself from everybody else's problems.
I need one of
labradorite.
those. What is it? Quick.
Labradorite. You have to wear that as a teacher, as a healer,
Right.
at the throat chakra, because it dispels the negativity that people, because they're coming to you with every problem.
Yes.
They will
Yes.
tell you all of the dirty secrets that no one else will ever confide in. And you know, you can carry that weight of other people's problems on your shoulders and end up getting ill. You know,
Oh yeah, yes. I didn't protect myself in the past at all, and I even got possessed. You know, and I was sharing a house with a bunch of people, and I've got these football players holding me down as my body is riling because I've been possessed, because I opened everything up without any form of protection. And yes, that can happen. You can get those negative things in there, and you do have to do a certain amount of protection, and raising that vibration, and as you say, wearing things that are going to protect you, because there are always those elements. They're an accumulation of bad vibes that are looking for a home. And because I didn't protect myself, it found me. So it is important that we do know how to protect ourselves as well. You know, for me, it's always the white light as well, which is one of the things I do. What is the name of that stone again?
labradorite.
Labradorite. Do you sell it?
Oh yes.
Okay. I need one.
I've
Definitely
got a
need
big
one.
chunk for you.
Great, thank you. Be holding it. Yeah, I don't need it when I do my shows. It's just, you know, some other outside elements. But yeah, yes, so that's really important that we know that, because we've got to understand we are energy. Everything is energy. But if there is static energy around you from other people, they're going to try and offload that energy on you. And this is where you need that protection that can reflect that staticness back off, right?
And always make sure that if you're a psychic, to take some downtime, to make sure that
Yes.
you have every day, you cocoon yourself in your home or whatever it is that protects you, to recharge and re-energize your ability, because it can wear out. It's just like
Yeah.
another physical part of us.
People don't realize that, you know, oh, well, you're just sitting there, you know, well, how are you using your energy? You know, I'm 6, 8 hours a day sitting. Why are you tired? And they don't realize that the emotion, the emotional energy that goes into something, you know, can be sometimes twice as zapping as a physical one.
It can be. I mean, I've done at some shows, I've done up to 20 readings in one sitting
Oh, yeah.
for 7 hours,
Yes.
and you can barely speak, and you can barely
Right.
think, and you can barely feel, and I will vegetate in a chair for 3 hours.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Everyone's like, so what's wrong with you? You didn't, like, you know, run a marathon or anything. And
Yes, you did.
it's
You ran a
different.
cosmic one.
Exactly. It's a completely different muscle,
Yeah.
and you have to treat it as, you know, take care of it as well. So it's a, you know, honestly, it's programmed with the pituitary gland.
Yeah.
So that's where your abilities are coming from. And you know, this is a lot of things that psychics, I find, after readings, they'll crave carbs, they'll crave fats, they'll crave something that is like that, because it uses so much energy that it may not be physical energy, but it is definitely wearing.
Right, exactly. And people don't understand that, you know, that physical is not the only way you spend your energy. The energy is spent through everything you do. You know, you have people that come out of a meeting, or I feel drained, you know, and this is the thing is, pacing yourself. This is something that I had to learn the hard way. You know, I got the old cosmic 2x4 because I was not pacing myself. It was constantly being there for everyone else at my own expense, and realized I've got no fuel in me, but I'm giving my last drop. And then all of a sudden I'm sick. Right? So it's very, very important that we do pace ourselves and say no. A lot of people, because you have this ability, oh, come on, just tell me, just tell me. And it's got to be, no, you know, I'm switched off right now. And they have to respect that, because you're not just a tap that people can turn on and off at free will.
No, I'm not a party trick.
Right, exactly. Yes, yes, go on, the parlor trick. Yeah, no, it's, you're not there for the entertainment. This is a serious business. A serial, you know, this is why I called myself a spiritual counselor, because you are counseling. You are a coach, you're a counselor, you're a mentor, you're, you know, you're all of that. And depending on who you're speaking to and what that need is, right?
Exactly. I also do mediumship. That's a new talent that has started to come into my life, and I'm totally enjoying that.
Yes.
It's a little bit scary in the beginning, but once they give you the messages, you can automatically connect. And
Yeah.
that's another, like I said in the beginning, there's so much to what I do. It's never ending, and I can't wait to see what's coming next, what I'm going to be doing next.
We're just like, you know, the earth and the foundation, the roots that are strong. You know, I kind of refer to myself as a willow tree, strong rooted, strong trunk, but my branches are constantly flapping in the wind and going with the flow. But we do need to kind of ground ourselves, don't we? We do need to have a good, strong core, and then the ability to branch out and explore other things. So it's not like go out and do mediumship, go and do this and go and do that all at once. As you said before, hone in on something that is your core thread. Develop that. If you start developing an interest for other things or abilities for other things, you can then explore them. But again, going back to pacing yourself, to allowing, you can take all of this on now because your core is so strong and your channels are all individually clear. But if you try and do anything too fast and too much, everything is going to get into a mush, and it's going to become confusing and overloading, which you can burn your circuits out.
Exactly. And that's what has happened to quite a few psychics before. And now they are no longer in the industry anymore. Right. It wasn't because of age. It was because they just got burnt out.
Yes.
And you need to take, if I work 3 or 4 days in a row, I will take 3 or 4 days in a row off.
Yes.
I will do something completely different that is not anything to do with psychic abilities.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. You need to have that division.
Yeah. Yes, it's like with me, and especially where I've moved now, I've got coffee bars here, there, and everywhere, and so now it's like I am going to do it, and then the afternoon is off. You know, no work, because you could be here, and work will always present itself. There's always something you could be doing. You have to go, nope, doors closed, got to take some time. I can come back to something later, and that's so important of pacing ourselves and honoring who we are and what we do. Right?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I can see myself doing this for the rest of my days. So I'm going to take care of that talent.
Exactly. Otherwise you will burn out, and then we'll lose somebody, and we don't want to lose you because we need you. Right? It's not just what you're doing for your clients. It's the fact that you are building your own library here, you know, your own orchard here of other people's wisdoms coming together, and, you know, and creating this harmony-based service, which is wonderful. So I'm so happy to see that you are branching out, but in a secure way. So having said that, when you let everybody know how, because there's so many ways people can reach you, and if you look at the posting, folks, we've got everything here, but let everybody know how they can go to you, all the different Facebooks and things like that.
Okay, so I'm mainly on Facebook, and so I'm under Mystic Intuitive Services, which is one of my pages. I also have the Psychic Reader Facebook page and Avalon Gems Facebook page. You can also reach me through my email, pixiedust363@yahoo.com. And I do email readings, distance readings, chat, messenger, through Facebook, as well as in person. So there's a whole bunch of different avenues in order to get your readings from me. I also do, you know, in-person readings at Avalon Gems, which is at 62560 Johnson Street in the lower part of Market Square.
Mm-hmm.
And I do my readings from home as well. So those are some avenues to get in touch with me.
You also do psychic development courses?
Psychic development courses. I'm doing one right now, actually at the end of October, called Trick or Treat Tarot, which is all of us going to be dressed up in a whole bunch of witchy outfits and learn the art of tarot. And that's for beginners up to intermediate. It doesn't matter what level you are at. So I'm constantly putting out workshops, and yeah, I'm quite enjoying it.
And you also have the psychicheroes.com.
Psychicheroes.com is where I do the recruiting for psychics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always looking for people that are in Canada or the States to join us at psychicheroes.com. We are a new company. It's started in 2016, and we are also getting an app for Android and an iPhone that's coming out soon. So it's going to be a progressive company.
Right.
I've been with them now for about 6 months, and they're based out of New York.
Excellent. Wonderful. So, I mean, wherever you are, people can find you in whichever way. It doesn't matter if you're not in North America. Facebook is everywhere. You can do things through email. Can you do it through Messenger on Facebook?
Yes, actually, most of them are done through Facebook Messenger, and I'm running a deal right now. So it is 5 questions for $35 US. And it's quite successful. So
excellent. So think of what your 5 questions are. Don't throw them away on something silly. Make sure that they are really connected and have something that can really serve you. And for $35 you can get that clarity that you need, that then helps you go into action. Now remember, folks, the wisdom that you're given isn't sit back and wait. Okay, she said this was going to happen, so now I just sit back and wait. That's not what the idea is. She's giving you the knowledge and the wisdom so you can act on it, so you know which direction to go into. It's not a sit back and wait for the cosmic Amazon delivery. It is get off thy butt and get into action with clarity, right?
Exactly. And time frames are difficult as well. So
terrible, yes.
The universe does not understand time frames.
No.
Yeah, and so I get those questions quite a bit, but I suggest not to ask those in your 5 questions.
No. Yeah, I mean, you can have it this year and next year, and you can kind of feel when things are, but we also got to bear in mind the synchronicity of other events that could affect the time frame. And we've got to understand that as well. Sometimes I've been spot on with time because I feel it's instant, and other times you have no idea. It should be here now. I'm feeling it. Why isn't it? And somehow something else has held it up. So no, time is not the thing. Okay, what is the number one question you always get asked?
Does he still love me? Am I going to hear from him again?
Yes.
When am I going to hear from him? Is he with another woman? Like, it's all love-based questions that I get. Those are the number one questions.
And how many times do you go no?
50-50?
Yes. Yes.
So yes, it's all dependent on how I'm feeling. And most times I can connect automatically with the client through the chat and see the image of what needs to be said in those situations. Like sometimes I'll say, oh, well, I can feel tears. I can feel that you're upset. And they'll go, how'd you know that? And I'm like, okay, so now I know what the answer is going to be in these cases.
Yes.
You can feel that out and predict it. And after years of experience, you can give them the answers that they're looking for in the direction that they need.
Have you ever had, somebody where you just couldn't feel them at all?
Not very often. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 in my years of doing it.
Right. I mean, there are some people that are very shut down, but, sometimes it's that they've already exited. I was doing readings at school, which I courted my mother into doing as well. And we were doing it for a fundraiser at the school. And I had one of my 14-year-old classmates come in. There was nothing at all. Really? I had to kind of create something for her. There was nothing. She was dead within a week. And that was just because her life had already exited. And no, folks, don't get panicky. That doesn't mean it's going to be you. It's rare. I've had only one of those in my life where it was completely and utter blank slate. But it was as I said, her time had already come to an end. She was just waiting to exit. And we've also got to realize we sign a soul contract before we come here. And however long we're going to be here is for us to go and do what we're here to do, and then we're going to exit. So if people leave young, you know, that they came and they've done what they've needed to do and they're gone. They signed that contract before they even got here. I know it's hard for us to lose people, especially when they're young. It's more painful for us than it is for them, right?
Right. And I also have done quite a bit of medical intuitive. I had this one lady actually come to me, and I kept seeing, not physically, I kept seeing that there was a lump on the side of her neck, and she was going to get ill, and she was going to have health issues and cancer. And I said to her, before you leave my office, go make it a doctor's appointment. She comes back, and about a month later, she goes, you saved my life. If I had not gone to see the doctor, I had a tumor in my neck that was undiagnosed.
Right.
So you need to believe in what you're seeing and what you're feeling.
Right. And this is the things, please don't go in as I'm going to challenge you. I'm skeptic. Prove it. Don't bother. Don't waste your time. Don't waste yourself's time. Just don't bother. Go in there with open chakras ready to receive, because the more open you are, the more you're going to receive, the more clarity that's going to be there. There's no point in challenge you or you know, the conflict, because that's not going to create an open channel of knowledge, is it?
No, exactly. I've had a few clients that have done that. They find that, well, let's prove what you are, you know, before I spend anything on you. And right. I don't do challenges. I'll just say, I'm sorry, maybe you need to find someone that is more your style.
Yes. I'm the same with numbers. How many numbers listen to your show? I said, if one person listens to the show and it makes a difference in their lives and that dominoes from there, I'm happy. Exactly. Right? I'm happy. So I think one of the things we need to look at in life is this proving and this, you know, all this other facade and fake stuff that we see out there. We need to let it go because it's simply not serving us. So I'm very glad we did this. We met on Alignable, great organization, and we met in person, and I'm very glad we have done this. To find somebody who has actually dedicated their life to this as a profession, to expand on it, to include other people into it, is rare. A lot of people keep very much to themselves, are very guarded, and you're very open and you're very sharing of what you're doing. So thank you, because you're giving the green light and the spotlight on other people and the work they're doing. And you're creating your own orchestra here. Everybody's bringing their own instrument. You're creating your own orchestra, creating a lovely symphony for everyone to hear. And it's just going to benefit everybody in and around it. So again, reach out to her on the Facebook. What's the main one you would give people to come into?
Mystic Intuitive Services.
Okay, so mysticfacebook.com, Mystic Intuitive Services, and from there you'll find everything else. 5 questions, $35. That is nothing. US dollars, remember, folks. Think of what your 5 questions are before you get there, and chew them over with the answers that you get. Let them digest. Don't go, yeah, but. Just let it digest. And then once you digest it, it will then come to you and go, yeah, right, now I see it, right? So again, don't be challenging after. Let the knowledge digest, because the epiphany will come, which is really important. Thank you so much, Debra, for being here today.
Thank you, Sara. I really enjoyed it. And
keep up the wonderful divine work. And to everyone else, please let go of this false illusion that you have of psychics and mediums and Wicca and paganism and all of that, because it all comes from love. It all comes from divine love. It's a gift that is being given, that is being shared. And if you're willing openly to step into that love, step into that sharing, you'll see how it will benefit you. Because after all, if it benefits you, you can now go and benefit someone else, as it should be. So until next time, folks, bye for now. For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show.